All right, guys, got a 1,000-yard shot for you. What is up, and welcome to the channel. I'm out here on the range today at Take Aim Training. On today's episode of Watching Me Have a Good Time, we have a $650 AR10 coming from PSA, which should be no shock to you at all because they are the purveyors of budget and cheap rifles. Here we have the, what is this? It's marked a G310. Is that what these are? No, it's a PA10. That's what these are, right? So coming from Palmetto State Armory, we have a PA10, which should be of no shock to you at all because, you know, they're known for turning out cheap budget weapons. So this is a upper and a lower that I bought each on sale. I believe the lower is a blim, I want to say, something like that, and put them together, and we have a functioning AR10 patterned rifle. This one is chambered in .308. They also offer these in 6.5 Creedmoor and probably other calibers as well, truthfully. But this one in particular is in 7.62 NATO. So historically speaking, AR10s have been out of reach for the most part. We're talking about thousands of dollars. And over the years, there's been a couple companies that have developed or started producing offerings that are on the more budget-friendly side of things, notably things like DPMS, for example. And in fact, this AR10, this PA10, is a DPMS patterned AR10. So, starting from the tip to the butt, we have a A2 birdcage type flash hider. That's what it looks like. We have a stainless steel barrel and a adjustable gas block. Typically, I steer clear of stainless steel barrels. In this instance, it makes sense though. They're generally more precision orientated than the kind of obnoxious fast shooting that I'm normally doing. So with something like this, it makes sense to have a stainless barrel. They lend themselves to accuracy generally, and you'll see a lot of precision setups are going to be using stainless steel barrels. The gas block itself is an adjustable gas block. It's quite nice to have an adjustable gas block on an AR10 or something chambered in a larger caliber like .308 or 6.5, something like that, just so you can kind of fine tune it a little bit in terms of recoil management, or if you ever decide to suppress it, it'll help you tame it down a little bit there as well. Going back, we have a chonky AR10 bolt, which has some interesting cuts on them. Once again, I believe these are DPMS pattern. Unfortunately, when it comes to AR10s, a lot of times you cannot just mix and match across manufacturers, and you'll find that there's probably 3 types that are manufactured, so you have to pay attention to that. So going back from the Chungus bolt, the Chungus BCG in here, we have just a standard but looks like a normal mil-spec charging handle. We have a Magpul stock. We have a PSA grip, which is actually kind of nice. It's rubberized, and a mil-spec-esque trigger. And as a matter of fact, so it's a single stage. It's a single stage trigger, but it's not horrible. It's a little lighter than most. So it doesn't have quite the resistance on it that like a standard AR mil-spec trigger has, but it's very much that feeling. It's probably probably a 4-pound trigger. It's not bad. And it is smooth. We also have a standard safety on it, a standard bolt release, handguard. It's just kind of somewhat I would consider a generic, you know, whatever handguard. No QD points on it, smart QD. So, you know, handguard, whatever. For this, once again, for this price point, I don't know what you're expecting. But the concept of having a budget AR10 is awesome, because you can just, dude, you can get a hold of one of these and then you're shooting out to, you know, 600, 800 yards or more, whatever. You can, for $650, you are reaching out there, and it's honestly a very impressive prospect. Truthfully, with that said though, I'm not entirely sure how this would hold up over time compared to like a very nice AR10. So I would manage your expectations in terms of lifespan that you get out of one of these. But the fact of the matter is like, can you really complain for like for the amount of money? Probably not, if I'm being honest. So of note, the only issues that I've come across with this thing so far is I've had to mortar out 2 live rounds when I would drop the mag and go to clear it, and it would give me a good amount of resistance on the charging handle, so I went ahead and mortared it. That's happened to me twice, but it stopped doing that. So I don't know what to think about that, but those are the only notable malfunctions, I guess you could say, that I've had with this. Other than that, it's been a pretty solid shooter. It's fun to shoot, very much so. It's a little punchy, if I'm being honest, even with the gas tune. It's a little bit more punchy than some of the other 308s I've shot, but it's not horrible. It's still manageable, you know, to be frank with you. In terms of accuracy, that is one of the other questionable things about a budget AR10 is what kind of accuracy can you expect out of, you know, I'm trying to think of how to say this nicely. What kind of accuracy can you expect out of, you know, a sub, you know, $1,000 AR10? It's hard to say. I would think that realistically, with some good ammo, you could probably shoot 1.5 MOA, 2 MOA, something like that. Maybe under, depending on exactly what your setup is and what you have. I'm gonna shoot a group with this just using ball ammo from AAC. You know, I thought that might make sense to shoot their ammo out of their gun. And yeah, let's see what it can do. So I'm using a 1:6 on this thing, which is suboptimal for a 308. It should have a much higher magnification optic on there, but this is what I got, so deal with it. Alright, so as I was up there shooting, I realized I didn't have a very good reference shooting an IPSC target at a distance. So that's very much a garbage group. So I feel like that's not really giving it a fair shake. So what I'm gonna do is re-paper it, and I'm going to create a reference in the center that I can actually see from back there. Alright, so as I suspected, I was able to tighten it up a little bit, even stacking these two right here and almost stacking those, and I did pull at least that one. My point is, and that's probably not the best representation of what that's capable of, given the optic, me shooting off a backpack and just me being me. I'm not a precision shooter. But just with AAC ammo, I mean, those two are stacked. Like that, that's not so bad. It's not a great looking group, but just a rough idea of what you can get out of one of those. So group at 100 yards, it was roughly about 3 MOA, probably slightly larger than that. I think it's acceptable shooting ball ammo off of a backpack. Really, you know, that's fine. You could probably shrink those groups down if you used a sled, a good, higher magnification optic, better ammunition, things like that. I think it's fair to say you could squeeze 1 MOA, 1.5 MOA, if done right. So honestly, this thing is an incredible value for the money. For 650 bucks, dude, you are in the game of shooting full-size cartridges out of a semi-auto AR platform. In addition to it being relatively useful, you could use this thing hunting. It is an absolute blast to shoot. It's a lot of fun to shoot AR10s, especially if you have the opportunity to shoot at distance. It is a lot of fun. So from a value perspective, absolutely, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever. This thing, you can't ask for more. For the value is insane at that level. With that said, I don't know if it's going to last as long as a higher end AR10. I don't think it would, right? And that's not really necessarily their fault. You get what you pay for in that sense, especially with something like this. But it's fed reliably. It's like I haven't had a single stoppage. I've never had a single stoppage out of it since I've been shooting it. Also, additionally, 308 is becoming a little bit cheaper, which is I think AAC sells this for not much more than what you can get good 5.56 for. And so once I'm trying to think how to phrase it. So the price of 308, some 308 is encroaching the price of expensive 5.56, which is insane. Because so for not much more money, you can start shooting 7.62 NATO, which obviously packs a little bit more of a punch behind it. And also with the cheap 308, it's actually feasible to shoot and train with. So yeah, dude, absolutely incredible value for the money. This thing is freaking awesome. I should probably shoot this thing more often to be real with you. The thing about something like an AR10 like this is it fulfills several roles, or potentially fulfills several roles. You could use this thing as a semi-auto DMR, right? You could use this thing to take deer, hunt hogs. You could use this thing to shoot far distances. I don't know if I want to say you could shoot precision matches with it. Maybe with the right hands, I could potentially see that. But it's honestly incredible for what it is. With that said, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. Please like and subscribe.